I'd like to speak with you this morning about Christina Proenza-Coles' excellent book, American Founders: How People of African Descent Established Freedom in the New World. But we're going to start by talking about Jelly Roll Martin, who was speaking to Alan Lomax on the egalitarian nature of jazz at its inception. He detailed the facts of who played what and why. Here's Jelly. New Orleans was the stomping grounds for all the greatest pianists in the country. We had Spanish, we had colored, we had white, we had Frenchmen, we had Americans. We had them from all parts of the world because there were more jobs for pianists than any other 10 places in the entire world. Well, the sporting houses needed professors, that's what they call piano players. And we had so many different styles that whenever you came to New Orleans, it wouldn't make any difference that you had just came from Paris or any part of England, Europe, or any place. Whatever your tunes were over there, we played them in New Orleans. Now, these are excerpts from the introduction of Ms. Proenza-Coles' excellent book. The history recounted here pertains not only to Afro-Americans, it is the history of all Americans. Racial categories are the products of politics and culture, not biology and nature. The idea that there are discrete organic categories of black people and white people has been revealed by history and science to be a total fiction. A great number of the Americans who advanced democracy were the descendants of slaves and slave owners, in addition to the countless Americans and their progeny who are literally the descendants of slave and slave owners. All Americans, regardless of ancestry, are inheritors of the interrelations between slaves and slave owners, culturally, economically, politically, and socially. American history is not black or white, slave or free. It is both. We are both. And this realization will help us to better understand our past and our present. Now, this is me talking about this next excerpt. It's akin to Ralph Ellison's anti-tribal perspective in Invisible Man. He once expressed to me that the protagonist of his book was exploited by members of all tribes, and that his invisibility came from realizing the limits of sectarianism and retreating underground to plan his next move. Ms. Proenza-Coles goes on to say, Afro-Americans sought to advance freedom in highly variable and sometimes conflicting and violent ways. Individuals of African descent were not consistently victims or heroes. They were Americans navigating particular cultures and contexts with individual motives, allegiances, ambiguities, and concerns. What this panoply of historical actors had in common was a powerful orientation to the ideologies of liberty and justice. What unites the disparate endeavors of Afro-Americans described here, individuals from epochs and distinctive regions, each with particular bearings and circumstances, was that their major loyalty was not necessarily to a place or a people, but to a principle: freedom. That's what we're talking about, freedom.